In this video, we're going to pick up where we left off with the making of points, and we're going to begin working with some curves. If you go to the curve menu, the ones we're going to be working on are under this primitive panel. So in this file, I have 2 points. If I click on the point, it's going to highlight it in green. So there's the other one. We use 2 methods for creating these points, one with a panel where you input the X, Y, and Z, and one with a series of sliders. Now what we're going to do is construct a line between those 2 points. So you'll find the line tool on this primitive panel. I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to click on line. So you can also click here, and I'm going to place this this parameter that will receive the 2 points. So, we're using the panels up here just to kind of get you kind of familiar with where they're located. But another way to bring this this particular tool up is to double click, type line, and select it from the menu there. So I'm going to delete this one. Anyway, either way works. Depends on what you're comfortable working with. So to construct the line, I simply drag a link between the 2 points, 2 points A and B, and there it is. Now again, if I click on one of the points, it's going to highlight in green. If I click on the line, it's going to highlight in green as well. And this would be a good time to save your file. I'm going to File, Save Document. Next, what we'll make is a circle, which is also on this primitive panel. It's right here. And again, if you want to see more options, you can, go to this pull-down menu, click on the little arrow. And you can also, as I had done with the line, double-click, type in circle, and choose it there. Now, you'll notice when I did that there's another circle tool. So one of the reasons we're kind of going to the panel is to make sure that we're choosing the one that allows us to input certain inputs. Anyway, I'll just take you through this example of creating a circle. I need to establish a point and a radius. So I'm just going to highlight these 4 items, and I'm going to hit Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, and then Control or Command V, and then I'll pull these down lower. Okay. Now I need the XYZ for the location of the point, and I'll connect these 2. The point to the point, but I also need a radius. So I'm going to click on one of these sliders, and I'm going to drag one down. Now, I could have used the panel to produce the same effect by inputting 840 as the XYZ, but this gives me a little bit more flexibility in sort of changing things up a bit. Okay, so for the radius, I'm going to connect it. Right now, the radius is set to 0, so we don't see anything. But if I begin to slide along here, I can see that my radius is changing. Right now, it has the same center point as the point that I use for the line segment. And if I want to move the center of the circle, I can shift these sliders. Okay, now remember, it's been constrained by a range, so I'm only able to go to up to 10 in the X and Y directions. And if I wanted to change that, I would double click and alter the range. If I wanted to say, I double click in that line there, and let's say I want to go up to 20, and I'll say, okay. Oops. Yeah, there we go. So now I can move it a little bit further out of the way, and I could do that with the other one too. and click on OK. So same thing here. Now the center of my circle, I can kind of shift it around so it's not sitting on top of the line segment. This would be another good time to save your file. All right, the next primitive I'm going to work with is the rectangle. So I'm going to bring in a rectangle. And again, you could use you double click on the screen and search for rectangle to find the same tool. All right, with the rectangle, it needs to understand where you want to place the lower left corner within the space, and then the X and Y controls the sort of width and height of the rectangle. This R, if you cover over it, you'll see kind of what these tools are all about, is going to allow me to fillet the corners. Okay. So I need to have at least the parameters or the inputs for the point, the X and the Y, and the R for radius is an option. I'm going to do the same thing that I did previously. I'm going to highlight these three. And by the way, for the circle, adjust it. You don't have to use the same numbers that I've used, but so that it's not sitting on top of the line segment tool. Okay, Control C, Control V or Command V. Oops. Drag this down and repeat that 3 times. And then we'll use the radius input. So I'm going to make one copy of one of those sliders. And then I'm going to start plugging in these input values. We'll just drag them like so. Like that. Okay, so now we have a rectangle, and as you can see, the corners are not radiused because I have that value set to 0, but if I begin to slide that value, you can see they're changing. Same thing with this one. We want to move it so it's not sitting on anything, but to illustrate like what some of these inputs mean, I'm going to bring this one down to 0 and 0. So you can see that the lower left-hand corner is set to 0, 0, for this one. And I'm going to move it, further over here. So in this case, I'm going to double click on the X coordinate. And let's see here. I think these are 10 units from here to here. So if I wanted to put it, maybe more like over here, I could increase this maximum range. I'll put this at 40. And you don't need to do these exactly like I am, but the idea is just to get them so they're not sitting on top of each other and kind of get used to how you can control them. So what did I change this? Okay, so I can move this one, further over. I can bring this one back down if I want it to be lower. So anyway, the idea is just to kind of get them clear of one another. Right, and I can also, adjust the width and the height of the rectangle based on these kind of coordinate points. So you can see by just dragging here. And you could change the maximums for these as well, just to kind of familiarize yourself with the process. Okay, so that's our rectangle. I'm going to save my document again. Okay, next I'm going to construct an arc. So I'll go to this arrow here and see there's a number of different types, and we're just sampling a few of these. I'm going to do a 3-point arc. Okay, and as I had done before, so you can see there's an ABC here. I need 3 points, so I'm going to make copies of these ones that I had made previously. And I will plug these in. Okay. So if I click on these to identify where the points are, you can see they're all on top of one another. So this is where I would need to begin adjusting the placement of them. All right, so you can see that an arc has been constructed. But again, it's sitting on top of these other elements, so I'm going to make some adjustments. I think I'll just adjust the X, which is running in this direction, so I can place the arc kind of up here. So I'm going to go to the X coordinate of that first point here. Let's do 40 again. And I won't change the Y, I'm just going to increase the for all three of the points. So A, B, and C, I'm just adjusting the X coordinate. And I'll slide these up for all of them. Looks like I needed to go further up. Yeah, I'm going to increase them to 50, or maybe even 60. Again, you don't have to do these values exactly like I am, but our goal here is to get all the objects free of one another. Make sure that I changed that. Yes, okay. And then I'll just slide up the X values a little bit more. So, and you can adjust these points as you like. You can see how it affects the curve when you use the sliders. You want to save your document. And that is it for this part.